Dele Alli apologises to fans as Tottenham crash out of Champions League to Leipzig. Spurs were thrashed 3-0 in Germany, 4-0 on aggregate, and never looked like getting back in the tie as Leipzig put Jose Mourinho's side to the sword. Tottenham midfielder Dele Alli apologised to the club's supporters for their performance as they were humiliated 3-0 by RB Leipzig and knocked out of the Champions League. Spurs were facing a difficult task to get through after they lost the first leg 1-0 in North London, and they are also in the midst of an injury crisis, which has seen them lose the likes of Harry Kane, Heung-min Son and Steven Bergwijn. Nevertheless, their showing in Germany was still poor, and a clearly emotional Dele admitted they were not good enough after the game. Speaking to BT Sport, he said, "It's devastating. We had belief before the game that we could perform, but if you don't step up you'll be punished. It's disappointing to go out like that. We conceded too many chances as a team and we were punished. When you are on top and concede 2 goals it's tough, but we had to show maturity and fight and we didn't do that." When asked about how much the injuries to the squad have had an impact, Dele added, "We can't use that as an excuse. We've still got quality on the pitch, but we have to step up and we haven't done that. Apologies to the fans who came out all this way. We're mature enough to know we're not doing good enough. As a senior player I have to try to step up and help the team as much as I can now." Spurs have now gone 6 games without a win, and they face a tough task during their next game as they take on in-form Manchester United in the Premier League on Sunday as they look to kick-start their top 4 challenge. Jurgen Klopp issues dark arts warning ahead of crunch Atletico Madrid clash. Klopp is prepared for Atletico Madrid to resort to dirty tricks as they head for Anfield for the second leg of their Champions League last 16 clash. Jurgen Klopp says the dark arts of cynical Atletico Madrid must not be allowed to succeed at Anfield. And the Liverpool boss insisted his side must respond to inevitable provocation from the Spanish side with a display of their own purer powers that will make any cheating irrelevant. Klopp pulled no punches as he outlined the gamesmanship practiced by their Champions League opponents in the first leg, where they targeted Sadio Mane and tried to get him dismissed with a series of unsavory dives. Sadio did nothing wrong, absolutely nothing, and I still thought in the next situation, it will be like this, he explained. If it was always that easy for you to get out the best player of the opponent, then there is something wrong with the game. If the player does nothing wrong, but it's still possible, wow. Everyone, from Atletico, runs against his elbow or whatever to feign injury, that should not happen. Klopp withdrew his most exciting attacking player at halftime in Madrid after Mane was booked, but he insisted he would not do that in the second leg. It is clear he wants more protection for his player from the referee, but he revealed he has spoken to the Reds team and told them the perfect response is play beautiful football to defeat a dour Atletico side. "We spoke about that already, but we will probably mention it again. To ensure your best players stay on for 90 minutes? Yeah, that would help 100%. In a similar situation in the second game probably wouldn't do the same," he added. "You need always a referee who is aware of situations like this, we cannot do it by ourselves. We expect a really experienced performance from Atletico, let me say that. In all different departments experienced, and we have to deal with that. But there is another area of football where we can be better than the first game and better than Atletico, but we have to show that tomorrow night. We need higher speed in different moments, better switches in different moments, we need braver football in different moments, we need to play around the formation, behind the formation, play through the gaps." Klopp hinted he has some surprises up his sleeve for the return, where Liverpool have to overcome a 1-0 deficit from the first leg. But with skipper Jordan Henderson returning, he has options, and he said, "If you play predictable, Atletico's defense will go for the next 6 months without a problem. If you prepare situations where it is not that easy to defend, the more often you are in situations where you can score, and that's what we have to do. If you are afraid of going out you cannot play with freedom, and we need this freedom. We need to play free. Knowing they are really good at defending, defend their counterattacks, get the ball back, use the space they create in this moment. There are a lot of opportunities for us, but against a quality team they are difficult to find. But we know about them at least, and now we have to make sure we can show them as well." Henderson will return, and James Milner could also start in midfield as Klopp goes for some experience of his own. Atalanta beat Valencia to make Champions League quarter-finals in eerily empty stadium. The statue of Vicente Navarro Aparicio, a lifelong Valencia fan who was immortalized at the ground after his death 2 years ago, was the only attendant on Tuesday as Atalanta booked their place in the Champions League quarter-finals. Atalanta booked their place in the Champions League quarter-finals with a 6-3 aggregate victory over Valencia in an eerily empty Mestalla stadium. The statue of Vicente Navarro Aparicio, a lifelong Valencia fan who was immortalized at the ground after his death 2 years ago, was the only attendant on Tuesday night. But Valencia were unable to come out on top despite the limited home support as the Serie A club ran out 4-3 winners on the night. A decision was made last week to play the Champions League fixture behind closed doors in an effort to contain the spread of coronavirus. Spain's health ministry said it wanted to avoid large gatherings of fans, but that didn't prevent Valencia supporters turning up in their thousands outside the Mestalla ahead of the game on Tuesday night. Meanwhile, inside the confines of the ground, Josep Pulisic hit 4 goals as Atalanta won a thriller behind closed doors in Valencia to reach the Champions League quarter-finals. The Slovenia striker scored 2 first-half penalties to seemingly wrap up the tie, only for a Kevin Gamero brace and a Ferran Torres strike to give Valencia hope of a shock comeback. That would change when Pulisic added his third and fourth in the last 20 minutes, with the Serie A club eventually running out 8-4 aggregate winners. Marcel Sabitzer hit a first-half double as RB Leipzig cruised past Tottenham to join Atalanta in the last 8. The Bundesliga side secured a 3-0 victory at the Red Bull Arena to advance 4-0 on aggregate and heap more misery on Spurs boss Jose Mourinho. Injury-hit Tottenham have now lost 5 of their last 6 games and were outplayed in Germany as last season's beaten finalists failed to overturn their first-leg deficit. Sabitzer opened the scoring after 10 minutes, although Spurs goalkeeper Hugo Lloris should have kept out his low drive and will also be disappointed not to have saved the Austria international's second attempt later in the half. Substitute Emil Forsberg scored within seconds of replacing Sabitzer in the closing stages as Leipzig made their dominance show. Jamie Vardy explains what Pepe Reina told him before penalty versus Aston Villa. Vardy called Reina's bluff just minutes after coming on as former Liverpool keeper tried to play mind games with Leicester forward. Jamie Vardy brilliantly called Pepe Reina's bluff as he scored a penalty just minutes after coming on in Leicester's 4-0 win over Aston Villa on Monday. He and Harvey Barnes scored twice each as Leicester returned to form, with Vardy's double representing his first 2 goals in 10 games. Vardy held his nerve for the first of those goals, drilling a penalty straight down the middle just minutes after coming off the bench. And what was impressive was that just moments earlier, Reina had told him that was exactly what he was going to do as the Villa goalkeeper tried to play mind games with the Foxes forward. Asked after the game whether the pressure on the penalty was greater, given he had only just got on the pitch, Vardy told Sky Sports. "No, it made it a bit easier. The keeper said I was going down the middle and I was. So he's tried to play my bluff and I've ended up calling his." Tyrone Mings was then penalized for a handball from a Barnes cross, with Vardy doubling the lead from the spot. Vardy smashed home his second at the near post from inside the box before Barnes pulled up his double from a Mark Albrighton cross. Leicester boss Brendan Rodgers said his side were looking close to their best again after a run of only 2 wins in their past 8 Premier League games. "It was a very, very good win. An important win," said Rodgers in quotes reported by the BBC. "The past few games we haven't been at our level. In terms of attacking, we were much better this evening. After the first goal we went on and played very well. We want to win and early on you could see our confidence wasn't where it has been. The only way you regain that confidence is hard work and these players have been brilliant. Tonight the intensity was there and we didn't give away too much." Man United ready to pay £70 million to seal Jack Grealish transfer from Aston Villa. Manchester United are preparing to pay up to £70 million to land Aston Villa skipper Jack Grealish this summer. The attacking ace has been in superb form for Villa this term after inspiring them to promotion last season. United are now determined to take the star to Old Trafford to join January hit Bruno Fernandes in a big rebuild. Mirror Sport understands United are ready to move fast to snap up Grealish, 24, who is set to make his England debut this month. Unlike his previous contract, Grealish's current Villa deal, which runs until 2023, doesn't have a buyout clause. So United know they will have to dig deep for Grealish, who has 7 goals and 6 Premier League assists this term, after also helping Villa to the Carabao Cup final. United are long-term admirers after trying to sign Grealish before he penned his first big professional deal on his 17th birthday. Grealish opted to stay loyal to his boyhood club and committed himself in January to help Villa's battle against relegation. But Grealish could see his £60,000-a-week Villa terms tripled if he went to United, who are on course to play in Europe again next season. A move to United would also suit Grealish's international dreams, where their stable of England stars includes Marcus Rashford, Harry Maguire and Dean Henderson. Villa boss Dean Smith was very cautious when asked about potentially keeping the star ahead of the League Cup final, which they lost 2-1 to Manchester City. Staying in this league is probably one of the biggest things that will help us to keep Jack Grealish, he said. He wants to play at the highest level and win trophies. Uncapped Grealish is tipped to win his first England caps this month in friendlies against Italy and Denmark ahead of Euro 2020.